This week on the Push Wallets podcast, we talk about being in your business or working on your business, and my annoyance with strength percentages. What they actually tell you. And 3, 2, 1. Just me and you today, Dan.
Hey guys, welcome to the Push Wallets podcast with myself, Damink.
And me, Tom Hall. What's going on, buddy?
I know they've been littered with guests recently. Spoiled, if anything, actually,
littered
listeners.
With two
yeah.
guests.
Spoiled that, mate. Compared to our previous amounts, that is a huge number, to be fair. So there you go. So I hope you've enjoyed having both Amelia and Holly on the show to go through their dream gym day. We've got another guest lined up as well, haven't we? So that's exciting. Another one. I think Tom's just bored of talking to me. He's like, I can't anymore. I need other people on the show. Like, this is not good. Yeah, I get the message, Tom. Don't worry. I've got the message, mate. Loud and clear. Don't worry.
I was just like, I felt like the last actually 2 weeks, me and Dan, we'd normally like sit and catch up for like half hour. And I was like, we haven't actually done that. And I was like, we should do that this evening. And then, we
just had a long catch up, mate. Revelations all over the place. I mean, it's just unbelievable. You know, 2 weeks not speaking to you, and all of a sudden your TrackMan handicap's down, and you know all these crazy things are going on. I'm not happy about it.
My TrackMan handicap, handicap is basically scratched. I've learned.
Not true. Tom is not a scratch golfer.
Not yet.
I will be by the end of this year. I promise you.
I promise you. As much as Dan, I bloody well should be. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact I've managed to move my schedule around so that I'm now playing 3 times a week. Like I was playing Wednesday, Friday, right? And as a golfer, I know you won't know this, I suppose, because you won't play out here and play all the time. But the gap between Friday and Wednesday was just too long. I was like, I just itching to play golf again. Like you have a bad round on Friday, like, oh my God. And then I was like, if I could just make my schedule so that I can play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that is perfect. And lo and behold, I managed to do it. I'm buzzing with it. So yeah, I mean, not that I played any good golf in that time frame that I've been doing that, but you know, it'll come. Hopefully, it'll come. But so yeah, it's. I have to say, I'm very, very grateful for that. I have to say, when I see the weather in the UK.
It's so cold. It's insane. I don't really understand I didn't understand it's fucking winter. Unfortunately, and it is so dark outside. It is gross. Yeah, I'm not enjoying. Definitely, I am a seasonal human. Who I like the sun. Well, I like spring and summer. I would like summer more.
That's the one thing I notice here is that there's no real kind of like summertime. The sun rises and sets pretty much within an hour, basically, summer and winter. Yeah. So you don't really get that feeling. Like I think here would be amazing if it was lighter evenings. It would be incredible, but it does get dark about 6, 7. So it's like every single day. So that's the only downfall to it. We'll get the sun all day, so kind of.
Yeah, it's a weird one. You can't play golf until 9:30 p.m. I played before, which is good. It's just good fun, but yeah, then you're right. All right, because literally one of my notes right now is literally what the fuck have we been up to? Because obviously people haven't realised, like they haven't really heard from us. They've heard from us, but not really from us. You get what I mean? Because we've actually had a script to stick to. Fucking hell!
I know.
It's painful. Dan was just like, "What is this? Don't like scripts. I like the loose notes, what to talk about." So yeah.
There you go. So yeah, no, it's we were just chatting briefly before that. I think it's been a good start to the year for both of us, really. I suppose in terms of work and stuff. Obviously, you know, working with a lot more coaches now, and I suppose that naturally our careers were going to shift that way a little bit anyway, because even during when we were coaching people, I hate saying Gen Pop because everyone's Gen Pop, but you know what I mean by that. When we were coaching sort of more Gen Pop, we still were coaching coaches who were asking for help and advice. It was naturally going to go that way, I think. I hate using the word mentor. I don't like it, but the more coaching the business side of stuff, because it is coaching. It's not mentoring. It is actual coaching and help from that point of view. But yeah, no, things are going well. And like I say, this year is just really gonna keep pushing that way. And you know, me and Mike have already had a few sort of, I say, meetings this week, like last week. But sounds daft, but before we would never really had meetings, as it were, to like talk about business stuff and where we're going with it all. So we've had a few really good chats, and we've got some cool things coming your way if you're a coach and you want to improve all your business stuff. Obviously one-to-one coaching still applies, and you can work with me anytime you want, but we're going to increase the amount of things that we offer, I think, and things like that, because we now have the time to do it, which is really nice. So one of them that I can I can talk about briefly is that all our clients and anyone in our members group is going to start receiving a pretty cool new feature that we're releasing, which is going to be monthly. We're calling it the Diary of a Coach Working in a Spare Room, with the CEO crossed out because coaches call themselves CEO of the business or whatever. So me and Mike are going to write sort of like a bit of a candid a candid way of getting content across, I think, which will be interesting and a bit different that again people maybe won't have seen before from us. So yeah, that's hopefully going to be released end of Feb. Will be the first edition of that monthly magazine, I suppose you'd call it. But yeah, only a select few people are going to be able to get that because you have to be within our circle, within our membership group, or a client of ours, obviously. So yeah, you'll hear more about that in the future, I'm sure. But yeah, we were just talking, just like I said before, we hit record. I don't say come on air, hit record. And Tom was just saying how he's had a busy week working like in the business rather than on his business, and it's just interesting how, like I said, me and Mike have managed to free up a little bit of time to be able to have that headspace to work on things, because you do have to be, you can't be doing the day-to-day tasks and take a step back and look at where you're going with things, where you want to be in a few months' time, in a few weeks' time, and stuff like that. And I think that's just a lot of coaches fall into that trap of just doing the sessions, doing the check-ins, and never really thinking about what the end goal of anything is. They just post content for the sake of it. And we had this chat in the members group the other day on a call, which is like, why are you posting this bit of content? What's the goal of it? Is it to try and get more followers? Is it to try and connect with your current audience? Is it to try and get people to buy from you? Is it to try and just make them feel something like? And I think even on that level, people can get so sucked into just doing stuff without actually taking a step back and going, well, why are we doing this? And why are we, doing that? And like I said, I think you probably felt it just delivering sessions. You feel a bit like
yeah, correct. Yeah, because I guess people can vaguely know my position in terms of like, because I still do half and half, I guess, probably is still my big thing. So I have a small batch of like mentor. Again, I try not to use that term. It's just because, again, the main people I train online are coaches, and it just fell very naturally. But obviously I spend more time doing like like today, one of my mentor calls literally, and we're going to talk about it in a bit, was just talking about loading percentages and Dan Baker's scales and all this kind of stuff, and making him I really understand why this can be applicable, what we can do to change it, and what most people think, and they make mistakes based off this, blah blah blah. Because unfortunately, I'm sure Dan's the same, like people still use percentages, but it's they take away those reps and exertion scales, and they're like blah 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 blah. But having someone coach in the back pocket, Dan, that I'm just like, no, this means this. And then instead of him spending hours traipsing around fucking trying to find the answer and not really trusting anything, or spending 500 quid on a course, he can literally just jump on a call with me and be like, Tom, what the fuck? And I'm like, wow. We spent literally half an hour talking about that and reviewing his programs, because he's going to be doing like a rugby strength and conditioning program for like 8 to 12 weeks, I think, and for a bunch of like rugby teams. And I was like, cool, I'll literally review it for him. But that's a little bit of my stuff. Because I felt like I have been, since the turn of the year, I think, I spent a fair bit of this stuff like on, people don't really know what I guess means on your business and in your business is an annoying term, I guess, what people think.
It's kind of like fulfillment, right? It's fulfilling the roles within it. It's like if you imagine like a CEO, I hate to use that term because no coach is a CEO, but CEOs of businesses don't pack the warehouses.
Yeah.
It's that whole thing of like, when you're a one-man band, you have to have the ability to go, well, what does the whole thing look like? What do you want it to be? Where's it going? And then you will also be then fulfilling the actual delivery of the service, I suppose, what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's just like I felt like I haven't been able to do that for a while, just due to like work, travel, scale, like stuff like that. I haven't had a weekend out, like not doing things, whether it be socially or work-wise, all year. But this is the first one, and we're just about nearly at February, right? First weekend of the year that I do not have anything in my diary whatsoever. I've like not planned to meet up. I purposely not planned to meet up with anybody. I'm leaving it free because I think I'm gonna just like mull over some stuff on Saturday and then probably chill out. To be fair, go hit some balls. But yeah, I was just like, I just need to sit back and be like, look at a kind of a global view of what's happening and where I should be. Because I've got like my 1 month, my 2 month, my 3 month, my 4 month, 5 month, and 6 month goal stuff target that I need to be completed, which I'd like encourage everybody to write that in front of them wherever they like sit at their desk or blah 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 blah, and just so it's in your face, so you get annoyed. It's the fear in it. It's just like people.
Do you know what the thing with it though as well? Like something that I think people don't understand, and we get this a lot with the coaches that we work with. They come in, is that they set themselves a goal and they kind of have this fear of not reaching it, or they have this fear of like not being close to it, or whatever it is, and they kind of don't really know what success looks like. And I keep trying to explain to people, if you set a goal that you don't quite reach but you get close to it, you wouldn't have got that number if you'd have aimed for that number. It would have been below that one again. And it's just this whole thing of like, and we do it regularly with launches of things. We go, right, we're going for this number, and we both know when we set that target, if we got 20% less than that, we'd be happy. We both know that, but we're like, well, you got to set the target to know where you're going to be. And I think, like you said, if you set month 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, targets, right? And let's say for client numbers, let's just say it goes like 5, 8, 12, 17, 23, and your actual numbers are like 3, 6, and then you go 4, so it goes to 18. You've got to look at that and go, well, that's pretty fucking good. Like, because it's done the same trend, you follow it, but people do get this point, I didn't hit the road, I'm a failure, I'm shit. And it's like, that's the problem, is that attitude. Those people who feel like that, if I don't hit that target, I failed. They're the ones that don't set those goals. It's just funny, I find it, how people assume that those who maybe achieve things they set out to achieve in the long term don't like miss their targets. I find it baffling that the people just assume that, they hit every single one. It's like, no, they don't. The fact they set the targets is the main thing. Like, that's the key thing here. And like at the same time, you don't want to set a fucking ludicrous goal, but stretch goal, I call it. Stretch goal. Let's be a stretch goal. Yeah. It's interesting.
Far too deep, too early. But yeah, that's been basically we've had some nice relaxing podcasts where we haven't had to think, to be honest. It's just chat. So that's been the point. Yeah. But Daniel, what have you started any new TV series? Is what I want to know as well. Let's have a
I haven't. I've been recommended. Mike tells me I need to watch Happy Valley.
Happy Valley. Okay.
Which apparently is a good series. Apparently,
I've heard that. Yeah,
decent.
Good.
Yeah.
So
but again, not seen it or anything. I think there's a series 1 that's old that you should watch before the new series, maybe series 2. I think. I don't know.
Okay. Fair. Yeah, it's definitely the time for series over here, because like nobody wants to go out. It's the longest time everybody's been paid. Hasn't been paid anyway. Everybody's depressed and it's dark, so everything costs a ridiculous amount of money. I paid like £14.60 or something, like £14.70 for 2 pints the other day. That's insane, isn't it? It's fucking mental. In London, in Marylebone, but still, Jesus Christ. Anyway,
I get so smug that I don't drink. But then again, I bet it's probably about £4 for a Diet Coke, so it'd still be the same principle.
But yeah, I started. Obviously, I put on a story today. I was like, I know he's slow to the uptake. House of Dragon. You didn't do Game of Thrones, did you?
No, absolutely
not. You loser. So that's obviously set 170 years before Game of Thrones, obviously. So that's an interesting one. A lot of weird shit happening in there, mate. So I always find
that's what Game of Thrones is known for, isn't it? Like the whole weird shit.
It's so funny because I tell people, they're like, yeah, that's how it's done in the Middle Ages. I'm like, in the Middle Ages when they had dragons. All right, yeah. I was like, and like crab people. All right, yeah, that was when what was done.
And when they had like computers to store the data from all those times, so they definitely know that happened. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
They said stuff by ravens, did they? Okay, cool. Yeah. This didn't happen in the Middle East. Like, just because it's set then, Tom. I'm like, it's not set anywhere. It's a mythical place.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter, Tom. It happened ages ago, right? Come on.
It's like the theme is then. Yeah, it doesn't mean it is. Yeah, but yeah, the first 3 episodes we've had crabs eating people, fucking weird. And then like the king being married off. We're trying to like this lad basically wants to merge and like combine families with the king. And sorry if I'm spoiling it for everybody. It's been out for a fucking year. Grow up. Yeah, and and then trying to wed like a 12-year-old. Like, can you imagine, like, given you've got a daughter, just be like, oh, you're going to be with this person in 5 years, but we're going to promise you to them now. And it's like,
how much they're paying me.
He's like, so your house is going to like combine with the king and the crown, and your firstborn's going to be a queen, and you promise them to the king that's like, he's like 60, but she's 12. Bit weird, isn't it? Bit weird.
Yeah,
and
slightly odd.
And then like does have a baby with this other young girl, and then the hand of the king, so his main advisor was like, oh, you should promise them to like the half sister. I was like, what? So half sister and half brother should get married apparently. It's like, this is weird, this is all kinds of wrong. So yeah, it's pretty I honestly didn't, obviously there's lots of fighting and stuff and blah 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 and dialogue, but I honestly felt uneasy watching the second episode because of some of that stuff. I was just like, I don't like this whatsoever, because I feel like there's some weirdos out there thinking, that's right, yeah, that's what should happen. Like, who's the annoying misogynist that Andrew Tate? What happens there?
Yeah, nothing like that for me, mate. Unfortunately, like obviously being over here, we get the luxury of dodgy boxes and stuff like that. So I get to one of the things I've been watching recently, for no apparent reason, but I used to really enjoy it, was there's a 24/7 channel over here. So it's just 24/7, always this episode just rolling over. The Undateables, classic TV show.
Oh yeah, that's a great classic TV show.
24/7 it's on. So like Richard comes on and you're like, oh my God, Richard's going, fucking hell, she lives in 9 miles away, not 8 miles, everyone remembers Richard. And Shane with his poetry, and like it's just something about it. I just like watching it. And it's when it's on, the thing about the channels is because they're on 24/7, you just flick it on, it's just nice background noise sometimes. Like I don't really sit nowadays, sound fucking old, I don't really sit and watch TV like really in depth, unless it's sport. Sport's the only thing I really kind of sit and watch in depth. But I don't sit and watch these things in depth. I just have it on in the background while I'm doing something else for half an hour or 45 minutes, something like that. I've not got into, last time I've not really got into a series and really watched it. The next thing I will watch will be Ted Lasso, the next series when that comes out soon, hopefully. But that's kind of it, really. Like I feel. I just feel like I'm at I don't know, it sounds really fucking, not a different the stage of my life, that sounds stupid, but I just don't like spending time watching TV. I've just got other things to be doing. Again, I think fortunately being here has changed probably how I do things a little bit. So I would rather, for example, go and spend an hour and a half on the putting green on driving range and then come back and do my work till like 8:30, 9 o'clock and then watch a bit of TV for half an hour and go to bed. Rather than I get, if in the UK and it's dark at 4 p.m, it's like, well, we can't fucking do anything. Like it makes a bit more sense, I suppose. But it's definitely one thing that I think has changed for me is I just don't watch. Me and Laura don't watch it. We used to watch loads. We used to watch Netflix all the time, and just don't anymore. It's not really a thing we do.
I started White Lotus as well. That's a weird TV
show. That's the one with Stifler's mum in, right?
Yeah. Jennifer Coolidge.
She'll always be Stifler's mum. I don't care what her name is. She'll always be Stifler's mum. There's no way she's anything else. Yeah. So no,
it's meant to be good, but I've done the first episode. It was so weird. I'll stick with it for a few, but I don't really understand it. Don't understand what's happening. No, very strange.
Isn't there series 1?
There is series 1, yeah.
So I think, isn't it supposed to be a piss take? Is it supposed to be a piss take of rich people when they go to expensive hotels?
But I think there's something weird that's going to happen. Like it's setting up for like some, I don't know, mystery stuff, I feel. But I don't know whether it's just a piss take of just, I don't know. I don't know what it's really about. So I need to probably research into it a little bit. I was just like, I've been told by a few people to watch it, and I was like, all right, I'll try one. And it was just very strange. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's setting the scene in the first episode. Like it was quite strange. Yeah. Quite strange, Daniel. Anyway, 2 topics for you, mate. We'll see what we can come off on the fly. You can have a little think about this whilst I'll jargon on vaguely about loading percentages and what they're actually deemed for. But I wrote 3 tips for coaches, and they can be anything to take away from January, or maybe what you've been doing at the moment, which is in terms of taking a little bit more control of your business again. Training, nutrition, content, business stuff. 3 tips across those spectrums. So we'll fester on that anyway. Don't really know what I'm going to come up with, but I'll cover the training one, I guess. nutrition, eat things, content, do stuff, business, earn money. Cool. So loading percentages. I just wanted to cover this because it was obviously an interesting topic. I'm assuming, Dan, you are aware of Dan Baker's reps and exertion scales. If anybody doesn't know what those are, like the percentages, how you program 1RMs, and traditionally that's taught in level 3, isn't it? That you have to do this percentage of this for 4 reps and stuff like that. What isn't taught, and it was kind of apparent today, and Clark doesn't mind me mentioning his name. Obviously, I told him to go away and look at that, and I cover it in a few of my lectures that I do as well about the percentage scales. But what it doesn't like obviously give. Obviously, I talked about like VBT and how that changes based off what you're doing that day, and everybody's different each day. It can be plus or minus like 16, 17%. You can be based off how shit you're feeling. But what an interesting thing it doesn't do. So say if I've got this up, have I got it up? Numbers. So obviously 100% would be for 1, and then 95% in theory, max effort, you could lift twice, and then near max effort, you'd lift once. So then you could drop down to like, say for 8 reps, you should be able to. This is what most people think. You should be able to, for 8 reps, lift 79% of your 1RM. That's how they would read that. Yeah, like near max exertion would be like 6 to 7. Then hard stuff, 2 to 4 reps short would be 4 to 6 reps, and then lower and lower and lower. Okay. So what it doesn't really give you is like how many sets it will kind of obtain. So it'd be like, all right, if I did what is maximal there, so say 80% is probably 7 to 8 reps. I say you can do 1 set of that, and then you're fucked basically. Yeah. And then you've got to do back off and drop the percentage or drop the reps that you're doing. I think that's what people need to take into account when they're writing strength phases or kind of power phases or whatever. If they're using percentage-based kind of principles, they need to realize that. And it's something that I will beat the drum about, is like the 80-85% rule of like, just work to that, of whatever that percentage is. And most of the time I want you to feel like you've got a little bit more in the tank, because you're building and building and building and building strength rather than feeling like you're smashed. And I went through it. I had a call with one of my clients because he was like, I feel like I can do more. And I was like, good. I want you to feel like that. You're literally an athlete, and like you play like 3 times a week. He's like, I don't want you to feel smashed. I want you to feel like you come out of that session like you've got more to give. And that's because you're still going to be progressively overloading. We're still gradually going up, but it doesn't really teach you how many sets. Because I think a lot of people would just look at that table and go, all right, 70%, I can do 13 reps there. I'm going to do 3 sets of 13 or 4 sets of it. And you're like, well, you won't be able to do that. That's not what that means. So, I don't know if you still use percentages at all.
No, I think it's the way I do that. So, for example, like I do a lot of descending sets with clients. So I'll program them. I'll say 10-8-6, right? And I'll say, right, well, I want you to warm up to a decent amount of weight. And if a client is consistently going to doing 10-8-6 and they're consistently increasing the weight each set, I'll say, why don't you start with a weight for 10 that you can only just do? Because then you'll do the same weight for 8. And then if you only just do it, then you'll do the same weight for 6 potentially. So there's 2 ways of looking at it. Is you either leave some in the tank and then you increase the weight for the next set when you do 8 and leave some in the tank. And this is the whole thing with like percentages. I just don't think that useful, because I think the other thing that I've heard Brett Contreras talk about is that different people have different thresholds. So it's in women, it's more of like more of like a shape. It's more of like a curve to it, where it either drops off or, oh no, that was it. He said it was a curve to it where it's like the higher numbers, they really struggle to meet the 2, 3, 4 reps for the percentage of a rep max. But you put them at 12 reps, they can do more than the percentages that they say. And the women just tend to go that way, but they're more, it was more that they could grind out the reps and do more of them and things like that. And like you said there, it's a case of, well, it does come down to like total volume a lot of the time, like say overall number of sets and how many of those you're doing. It's why the whole GVT thing was kind of like thrown out the window with everything, because it's like, well, there's no way you should lift the same weight for 10 sets of 10 reps like that. Yeah. It just means that some of those sets are pointless. They are
the
pointless.
first ones you're doing. Yeah,
you may as well just do 5 sets of 10 with a weight that you can actually lift, because that's all you're doing is you're just going to failure at the end, which we now know is required for muscle growth, right? More than anything. So yeah, it is a funny one, I think, but also as well, like I think as you go up to that higher percentage of 1 rep max with like the reps near 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I like training in the, I would say 2 to 6 rep range for myself. I don't really program for clients too much, but for myself, I do enjoy it. Is that it's so variable based on energy levels, sleep, stress, day to day. Day to day, you go 1 week, you feel great. 1 week, you feel shit. And I think that it just doesn't take any of that into account. And it just seems so, like, say, blasé. Whereas, like you say, if you go with your method, which is like, right, shoot for 80, 85% under that number that's been spit out by that thing, you kind of know where you're at with it. And it's why I like again, for me and my goals right now, I'll do 3 sets and I'll work up to my top set that day. I'll work up to a really heavy set. So I do 2-3 sets in that 80, 85%, like you said, focusing on speed, execution, form. And then I'll do the last set where I'll go, right, what can I lift today? Like, to really give it a go based on how I'm feeling. That some days that goes up 10 kilos, some days it goes up 20, some days it goes up by like 5 kilos, some days it goes up by 10 if I'm really going for it based on the last weeks and stuff like that. Because you always want to be training somewhat close to that sort of number where you need to be. I'm talking things like RDLs, trap bar deadlifts, front squats, that kind of thing. Bench press over like dumbbells and things like that. It's not quite, it's more compound movements, right? We're talking about. I just think it's for me, I think it's really important that you understand your own way of training, your own physique, your own ways of doing it, and your percentages of how you're feeling each day. Because I've seen many a person injured trying to lift a weight that the book said they should have lifted. I'm like, I don't care what the book says. How do you feel today?
I was like, did you sleep well? No. All right. Well, guess what? You're not lifting 86% for 5, like, or 85% for 5. And that's the difference between, you can tell whether somebody's coached a lot of people in person as well, compared to when they write programs. So.
Even down to, like you say, you go, right, we're down to do front squats today. They come in and they go, didn't sleep well, stressed as fuck. You go, right, we're doing Bulgarian split squats today. Like, just straight away, like, you just change because you go, right, well, that's not going to be as conducive. It's more like more risk of injury, all that sort of stuff. That's where, like you said, and I think a younger version of me might have been like, nah, push them on, like, they'll be fine. Do you know? Like, and I just think with experience, you realize that, again, not everyone wants to train that way. Not everyone wants to push like that. Not everyone wants to put themselves close to injury. They'd rather train again in 6 months' time and lift this similar amount of weight again.
Yeah.
So, I
literally did that with one of the CEO lads, and he was like, I've had the shittest week. And I'm like, and then he sucked at his pull-ups, didn't hit his numbers whatsoever. I was meant to go off and do trap bar deadlifts for like 4s. And I was like, we're not doing that today. 100%, no chance. I was like, there's no chance we're doing that with him. Then we're just doing heavy kettlebell swings. So it'll be fine. It's the same hinge movement. We're good. It's fine. And I was like, you know what? I don't want you to train on the weekend, please. So if you do, like zone 2, that's it. Like, that's all you're going to do, cardio stuff. So and if anybody wants to like talk about VBT as well, because they don't really, it's definitely not a science that I still think doesn't have groundbreaking research, but it's definitely something that resonates with, because Dan Baker's switched over from the percentage-based stuff to doing VBT. That's what he's devoting all his time to now. And it's quite interesting. It's still got its flaws because there's still this data and it all seems to be a vaguely anecdotal, but it does seem to be working in terms of just controlling what you feel from day to day. I think some people don't like, oh no, it's a different weight each time. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I'm trying to make you hit a different speed. Like that's why I want you to hit the speed. It's like, so the front squats I've written for some lad this week is literally, I was like, I want him to hit 0.75 for 5 times. I was like, I want your average to be 0.75 for these front squats. He's like, what weight is that? I was like, might be this, might be that. Like you're just going to find that set and you're going to stick there for 3 more sets after that. You'll know after like doing 1, it's like what it'll be, but what the weight you think it will be. So what would be 0.75 is like accelerative strength. So it should be around 60% in theory. So he should be able to, in theory, hit out like, I don't know, 20 of them. I'm like, he won't be able to. No chance.
That's the thing. Theory. Theory, great, isn't it?
I'm like, no chance doing that. I was like, I think that'd be nearer the 75%, 80%. If I'm really honest, I think you'll be able to move it that quickly for a set of 5. So yeah, it's quite interesting. But it's a good way of just, I'll be doing a YouTube thing on it as well. And I think I'm doing a live lecture at some point on BBT and implementing it like at a base level into people's like programs. Just, I'd say more athletic based, because I think it's a little bit too confusing for most people, for a lot more too clunky to set up, because you have to video yourself. So, but if you actually want to, if like you video yourself fucking for your coach anyway to film it, so there's no reason why you couldn't do it. So get that nice angle. Nice, mate. I think it was just an interesting premise. I think people still look at those scales and think it's like gospel some of the time, and it isn't, essentially. Right, mate. 3 tips. What can we give? What can we give people? What have we thought about over the last 2-3 weeks? 24th of Jan already. So what are people going to be doing on their, let's say, content, because we've all covered training. One tip, Dan, for content this year that you think's good.
I think with content, the biggest thing that I can say to people is do the opposite of what the majority of people are doing. Like, I get so frustrated with coaches when they want to grow, or they want to reach a bigger audience, or they want to niche, or they want to do anything like that. They want to speak to people. And ultimately, the reason they want all these things is so that they get more clients. That's ultimately the main goal. But one of the things is to grow an account, right? Is that they do the same things that they did last year and expect something to be different. Do you know how, like, when a client comes to them and they keep doing Slimming World, or they keep doing Weight Watchers, they keep doing Joe Wicks, and they go, oh, why do you keep doing the same things but different results, right? And coaches are putting out the same Twitter style posts, right? And expecting to go viral off it. Doesn't happen, right? They're expecting someone to share a video of them talking about what foods to buy in a supermarket, or protein swap or whatever. And like, do you know what I mean? It's like they're expecting that to blow up somehow. I'm like, right, well, that's not going to go viral. It never went viral before, so it's not going to go now. It's not going to grow an audience. It didn't do it before, right? So what does grow an audience? What does do all that sort of stuff and all those sorts of things? And everyone that I see over the last 6 months who I think has grown on Instagram and done really well, grown a bigger audience or connected with their audience, all this sort of stuff, they are doing something quite unique to them. Whether it's delivery, whether it's the way they speak, whether it's the things that they're talking about, anything like that. And of course, there's to some degree, there's just like only so much you can do as a fitness coach, right? But it's in the delivery, it's in how that person puts their personality across. And I just feel like coaches are just not getting it about what I say about being unique. Like, me and Mike just released a reel yesterday, like a Dragon's Den. We were standing in front of Dragon's Den and pitching our business idea, which was just a bit of a piss take about coaching and all this sort of stuff, right? Bit tongue in cheek, not aimed at anyone. And loads of coaches, like, loads of comments, loved it, funny, blah, 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 that sort of stuff. We know that's never gonna, make or break our business, but we enjoyed doing it and it was fun. And it's gonna make people think slightly differently about our content. Now, our content tomorrow may get shown to more people because, well, more eyes on our page yesterday. And it may be like, oh, Instagram's going, that's good. So I'll send more people to the next post, kind of thing. And there's a bit of momentum that's built up and all this sort of stuff. But the amount of coaches that I go, so what are you doing with content? Well, I posted a bit this, bit that. Okay, which ones go well? Don't know, really. Have you looked at the data? Nah. Okay. So it's one of those things where I find with content is it's not like one tip. It's, are you even looking at it properly? Like, or is it an afterthought that you're just throwing something up and hoping for the best? Because most coaches I see are just repeating the same things they did last year. And like I say, they're doing the Twitter post as a reel, hoping it'll go get more views. It's like, do you think Instagram doesn't know that it's a picture? It's gonna make fucking stupid. Like, you're trying to hack the system, cheat the system. Just create better content. And they always go, well, how? Practice. How about, here's a thought. How about you record videos and you make content that maybe doesn't get published? That maybe you just practice. Maybe you make it and go, that wasn't very good. Okay, great. Next one.
Yeah.
Try again. Different one. Just do a different one. Try again. And find one you do like doing. But also, I would also say, just because you don't like it doesn't mean your audience don't like it. Post it, see what they say, see what comes out of it. But instead, they'll go with the safety of, I'll just post a Canva post, just to post a carousel or an image, or, just something that's safe. And I'll just give people 3 tips on how to increase their protein. Oh, fucking hell. All right. No one's done that before. No one's done that before, have they? And I think coaches spend too much time looking at other coaches on Instagram. And one of the tips that I gave all the guys in members group the other day, which is something I encourage you all to do, if you're an online coach and you find that you spend too much time on your phone, on Instagram, looking at other people's content, other coaches, and you feel shit for it, create a second Instagram account that you use for your personal stuff, where you follow your mates, you follow your celebrities, your sports stars, your whatever, all the shit, and you use that to browse on rather than the fitness one. And you'll start to feel more creative because you'll see other content from other areas, and you realize that Instagram is not just how to increase your protein and a gym tutorial. You'll realize there's more to the world than that. So I would do that, and I would spend more time on the explore page looking at what content Instagram is pushing to other people, and you'll soon see why your content is not being pushed to other people. It's as simple as that.
Simple as that.
Maybe that's my tip.
Wonderful. I'll go business because obviously it's something that we just talked up at the top of the show, is fucking allocating time for, if obviously most coaches are one-man bands, and don't be a prick like I have and kind of get the in your business on top of you slightly. Be a little bit stricter. I normally have it like, it's the first thing, obviously, apart from gym sessions, to go. Like, if you've like, oh, I've got to put that call in there, or I've got to do that there, and it's like, oh, fucking hell, okay. That's got on top of me. But yeah, put it in. Like, use Dan's funky, you still giving away that for free on your email list?
Yeah, the planner. Yeah, you know.
Planner. Go jump on that, get the planner. Or just fucking Excel spreadsheet. I use Google, shockingly. They've got a good diary. Google Calendar syncs everything, isn't it? And then so actually put it in your calendar to literally look at your business, whether that be look at your accounts. Shit. Worried about how many followers you got? Maybe look at your bank account, because you're probably going to look at how much money you've got as well. That's probably a case of, that's the one of the side effect goals, isn't it? So that's a tidbit for people. Like, do you look at your followers as much as you look at your bank account? Probably not. So that should be probably a stimulant for you. So it's one that I kind of look at as well, because obviously I look at my maybe my stocks and shares stuff and my ISAs and stuff a little bit more regularly now, because I'm like, all right, should that be doing that? Should that be doing that? And that should be.
I can't remember who it was. I think it was it Alex Hormozzi who did this? He said something similar. He said, like, you should spend more time looking at your bank every morning. Right? Wake up and look at your bank. And is that what you want to increase?
Every morning, that's a bit weird, but
a bit much, but yeah.
I'm like, shit, I've got no money. All right, cool. It always happens with me, because I panicked whilst I was in Madrid. I was like, why have I got no money? And I did like a massive payday boost at the end of this year, because I was just like, all right.
I'll tell you why I've got no money. Actually, looking at my Revolut, I'll tell you why I've got no money.
Dan's going to say, because I haven't sent you any money.
Because Tom still owes me money from Italy golf. That's why he's punishing me. He's punishing me.
I don't owe you from Italy. I owe you from Dubai. Dan owed me from Italy for about 4 months. So
that was it. Yeah, it was about 4 months. I think he's waiting 4 months to pay it back to me.
But, I'll wait until I'm there again, and then I'll pay you.
That sounds about right. Sounds about right. But yeah,
because I'm an annoying person on my because I was like, if anybody doesn't do this, but I'm hoping they do, you can put obviously that you should be putting like 35% or whatever is 30% of weight aside for tax, but you don't have to pay that on your tax until obviously the end of January. But if you're like me, I put that tax money in an account to accrue so I can earn tax-free on my tax. Then I've been waiting for that to settle over the last week and a half. So waiting for that to sell so I can sell, pay my tax, and then I still get tax-free cash off my tax money. Bonkers, isn't it? It's, play the system. Play the system, Dan.
Crazy idea, mate.
And basically that tax-free will be used to pay Dan. So annoyingly. So yeah.
Annoyingly. There you go.
Straight in there. Dear. So it's all right, but that's where the stocks and shares have paid for my rounds of golf in Dubai, which is absolutely fine. That'll be my advice. Do that. Fuck it. I'm sure loads of people got stocks and shares ISAs. That's the one I do that for. And you just pump that in and it's fine. Tax-free cash. Because most people will be at that kind of level. They'll be able to use that. It'll be fine. it'll be fine. Or you just get like there's super high savings accounts right now, so you'd be able to. I'm assuming people might be just open one of them, put your tax cash in there, fuck it, earn a little bit on it. If it's like you got, I don't know, 15 grand tax bill and you earn 4%, better than nothing. So
it is, mate. 100% better than nothing.
Yeah,
we should get on it.
Definitely, very easy way of doing things, and probably because it's not enough to have to again declare. You probably will have to declare that in the rewards things. Obviously, it's like ISAs, you don't have to declare. So all good. Anything else, Dan? What nutritional training? They can be blended. One tip.
Drink more water.
Drink more water and train for stuff that excites you, I think.
Yeah.
That's obviously my kind of protocol, because training athletically is way more exciting than training like Holly Davidge. So yeah. Joking. Yeah. People like doing that, don't they? But yeah. I don't know. I just get so bored if I see like programs of 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 12, 4 sets of 12 still. What percentage are you using?
I agree with you. I think you just get to an age where you just go, it's boring now. No, I just don't fancy it. Which again, it's fine. You know, everyone can do what they want, train how they want, all that sort of stuff. But it's just, I think, you get to a certain point. I think it's because I've probably done it too much, to be honest, as well. It's probably better that. I'm just like, oh my God, really? So yeah, that's my thing.
That's your 50p. Wonderful, Daniel. We'll bring this to a close. We're about 40 minutes. Lovely. Any other business?
Not from me, no. I'm just about to go eat some dinner and play golf tomorrow morning. So I just like make you jealous by saying that, Tom. Sorry,
nice. Mate. I'm going to go make some dinner. That's about it. I'm still on HelloFresh. I think I'm going to switch. I think I'm going to try Gusto for a little bit.
Gusto always had the better options, in my opinion.
What is it today? It's Tuesday, so I can cancel. Yeah, I wouldn't normally have to do my, and also I keep forgetting to do my menus. So I got shit ones. I got shit ones this week. So I'm definitely one that's been vegetarian. One of the good things about getting one of the vegetarian dishes is that I get to go and get my own meat, and I get more veggies in my diet. That's one good thing I've realized.
Maybe that's.
But then I still think it's like a waste of money, because I should be having meat with this dish that I've already paid for. And vegetables aren't that expensive. So yeah. Anyway, that's what you can take away from today, guys. Tom never does his HelloFresh order properly.
Useless. Absolutely useless.
All right, guys. We'll be back with Paul Standall from, what's it? The PT Project? That's his thing, isn't it?
I believe that's what it's called, yeah.
It'll be endless cuffs. And basically me and Dan will have to, as we said, we were going to bring him on. Dan's going to bring a pillow because it's going to get late for you. But yeah.
It'll be very late, I reckon, but we'll be fine.
That'll be a 2-3 hour podcast, guys. So buckle down.
He can talk, that guy. That guy can talk. We'll rein him in a little bit. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. All right, we'll have a buzzer. Right. Yes. Move on, please. All right, guys, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next week.
See you later.